What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. On today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to place the front bushings or quiet down the front of your club car DS. Now, when I was driving my DS or going around a turn or turning into the driveway or going into the driveway or whatever, the front end makes a whole lot of noise. There's a bunch of clunking sounds and stuff like that. Or if the front wheels have a bunch of slop in it, like this right here. Now in my case, it was just the leaf spring bushings that were shot, but I went ahead and replaced all the bushings on the front end since the kit came with the entire bushing kit. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and quit talking and let's get into the video right here. All right, so in the front of the cart, as you can see, when we lift up the spindle, that bottom bushing is going bad. Right here, we have another bushing here, and there's gonna be two other bushings on this side as well on the control arm. The kit that I have has all 8 of them in there, bushing replacements with the sleeves, and all 8 is gonna be one on both sides on the spring, one on the upper spindle mount of the control arm, and 2 on the inner portion of the control arm on both sides. You can see one there. There's one behind the shock as well. Can't really see it. And that's what we're gonna do today, is replace all 8 of those on here. This is gonna be an easy one to get to. This one here is gonna be easy. Basically what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna just take the spindle off from the leaf spring, loosen that one bolt nut up, remove that, remove this one here. Once we have that removed, we can take the spindle and the hub and just lay it aside. We don't have to unhook it from the tie rod there. Now, once we have that done, I'm gonna go ahead and work on getting the upper control arm loose from the inside mount and getting those bushings replaced as well. So this lower hardware here, using a 9/16 wrench, 9/16 socket on an impact here. Let's see if we can bust this stuff loose. We can just leave this hanging. As you can see here, the bushing up here is fine, but the bushing down here is wore out. There's not even a bushing down there to begin with. It's completely gone. That's what was causing our noise, our rattling, and our shifting in the front suspension right there. Use a 9/16 impact to remove the lower shock nut that's holding it on. If you have to access the shock here, it's gonna be 9/16 as well. Once you remove that, you can get to this lower front bolt for the upper control arm. One more bolt to pull out. We can go ahead and pull the shock out as well. All right, this is the last nut and bolt we need to remove right here. This is the upper front control arm bolt nut. There we go, there's the control arm there. So I got my bushing kit laid out here, and I got my upper control arm. And as you can tell, the upper control arm really doesn't need to have the bushings replaced. The reason I'm gonna replace the bushings in the control arm now, whether it needs it or not, I would hate to replace the bushings in the leaf springs, and then 6 months down the road, one of these bushings tend to fail. You know, since we have them all, we want to replace them all. Now with all of that being said, we got 4 taller bushings here, and we got 12 of the shorter bushings right here. Also notice we have 4 of the shorter sleeves, 2 medium sleeves, and 2 longer sleeves. Like these right here, shorter ones obviously is gonna go right here in the back here. I'm thinking the medium one's gonna go here. I think the longer one here is gonna go to the leaf spring. I thought the camera was still rolling. I went ahead and knocked these back bushings out here. Obviously it wasn't, so I'll show you how I get the bushings out. I have one of these Christmas tree step bits. Put a link to it in the description as well. But what I do is I just typically take my hammer and I'll place this on the edge of my table or in a vise. If you have a vise, it'll work better. Place it here and knock it out with your hammer. Very simple. I've done the same thing with screwdrivers before. Sometimes the flathead gets stuck in there though from, you know, wedging itself in there. But since this right here is pretty much rounded here, it really doesn't get stuck in there. Okay, there it is there. There's the bushing, the lower bushing. And if you have to, you can grab this with a pair of pliers, put this right here back in there, hammer it again. There it is, it's out. Now we have no bushings left in our upper control arm here. I think what I'm gonna do before we reinstall the bushings, I'm gonna lay just a small thing, a little black paint on here just to make it look a little bit better on the front end. All right, so we have the control arms here. I went to paint these things. I ran out of paint, so I had to go to the store, get paint. Got home, I thought I had just Krylon black. Of course not, it was the hammered finish. It came out okay. I mean, it was better than what it was. I'm not 100% happy with it. Went and got new hardware. That's what that is there. Next thing we need to do is assemble everything here. On the bigger 4 bushings right here, those are gonna go into the leaf spring. These bushings right here are gonna go in the outer portion of the control arms. Then we got 2 that's gonna go in the back of this control arm and 2 is gonna go in the back of this control arm. Pretty simple. Put my bushing in there like that. I like to just give it a little spray. Just a little bit, eh? I know what you're thinking. And I'll just pop it into place. Okay. Take another bushing, do the same thing, go back into the very top of that as well. You can press it down. Now another thing you can do is you can take like a clamp. You can clamp this right here to push it together. I've used just like a squeeze tight clamp before, C-clamp. We'll do a squeeze tight clamp here. There you go, that's installed. Pretty simple there. All right, so just remember the bolt that's welded to the arm here goes towards the outside. It goes on this side there. Now, before you put it back in place, if you take yours off, there's these plates right here. These plates go between the arms on the inside, okay? Like that there and like that there. You'll kind of see in just a minute here. Take my hardware. I just bought new hardware. Make the job go a little bit easier. This is just 3/8 hardware. So we got one there. So painting is not necessary to this job here. All right, so I went ahead and got the upper control arm in. Got the shock mounted here. The body of the shock mounts closer towards the control arm. The rod of the shock mounts in the upward position. If you can see that there. Also remember here on the spindle angles backwards. That's the upward position there. You can mount it this way or the other way. This right here is spinning forward, but that's wrong. So be sure to mount it where this right here is facing back. If you take it all the way down like I have, next thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and get the nut on this right here side of the back here and go ahead and put the bolt and nut on there as well.